We don't need to scale product. We need to scale trust. Africa is about building trust infrastructure. I'm motivated to change the world. I'm motivated to change the African continent. And really, nobody really cares about how well your product is done or the technology your product is really running on. People care about their needs. They care about their problems being solved. And that is what really matters. So if you think you're solving a problem, do it.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Nhlanhla Vilagazi, and welcome to another episode where we sit down with founders and innovators who are building the solutions to some of Africa's biggest challenges. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Gideon Gitonga, founder of Nomachain, a fintech startup using blockchain technology to make home ownership more accessible across Africa. Gideon's journey is a powerful reminder that building a successful startup isn't just about having a great idea. It's about validating the problem, learning from the right people, and staying committed to the vision even when the path isn't clear. Today we'll be talking about his entrepreneurial journey, how ALX Ventures helped prepare him to build and scale Nomachain, and the lesson he's learned along the way. Gideon, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Jay. It's an honor and it's a pleasure for me to be on this call with you today. And thank you for for contacting me and asking me that whether we can do this story. And I'm looking forward to us having a discussion around what entrepreneurship is all about, starting businesses, building them, especially in Africa, where it's not an easy ground for founders like ourselves. Yes.
Definitely. Very excited about this conversation. So before we begin, who's Gideon? Tell us more about Gideon. Who are you?
Thank you, Jay. So Gideon is I would say is a young entrepreneur in Africa. I'm just turning 35 this year, so I'll be getting out of my youth this year. For the last, I think now 13 years since campus, I've been an entrepreneur. I've been building within the technology space. So we started off in the e-commerce space when e-commerce was starting up, and it was really a big thing then. We did a platform called Nunua. At that time, we were connecting retailers to their customers, and then came to manufacturers. So we created a whole ecosystem through Nunua. Then we moved to payments with NuruPay. We started doing cross-border remittances. At that time, people were transacting with M-Pesa, but a lot of people wanted to move money to brokers offshore, but they couldn't do dollar remittances. So we assisted in doing that until the big boys, M-Pesa, came into that space, and there was no business for people like us anymore. Then from there, we moved into the capital market space, where we started developing solutions that would allow customers to be able to or to allow Kenyans, the common man on the street, be able to access investment opportunities that were not previously accessible to them. So basically democratizing the capital markets for the common man. So we built a platform called Sotica, where we are now serving over 28,000 customers on it, and they're basically saving and investing in the Kenyan capital markets. And out of that, that's where we realized that 7,000 people really valued real estate or valued home ownership or a house that they could be able to either live as a social asset to their generations, or they could have it as a cash generating asset, but very few could actually afford it because it's a high value asset. And trying to find a solution for that was when Nomachain was birthed, when we wanted to be able to provide an alternative way to be able to assist our people to own homes, our people to own real estate as a cash generating asset or as a social asset. So basically we were thinking of how can we be able to provide alternative financing for people without them having to go to the banks to get mortgages, which are very expensive. Mortgages are quite expensive, and the CBR rule, the central bank rules around mortgage origination, are very strict, such that not many people actually qualify for them. So that was the basis for us to actually be able to start off Nomachain, and that's where we are. Yes, Jay.
I like that. I mean, you've done such an incredible work, and I'm glad that you mentioned Nomachain because I would like to touch on it a bit later on, what your business is solving, just to make sure that people understand the impact that you're creating. So you've mentioned so many things, and now I'm just wondering, were you born as an entrepreneur? Because You've done such an incredible work, but I want you to just take us through, what your life looked like before Nomachain, before all of the things that you have done, the incredible work that you have done and the impact you've created for the community in Kenya. What was life back then for you? What was occupying most of your time?
Yeah, as a young man growing up and being in school, being in campus, I always say I was a social guy, and one of the things that I really loved doing then was drama and acting. So drama and acting was really my big thing, and I did an act for when HIV/AIDS was really a big thing in Africa, and a lot of education was really required. I remember I was acting as a bad boy, and they were calling me Charlie in one of those acts to educate people why they should not have so many partners because that was a big risk. So I remember that was really fascinating. I also did an act for the president when I was in school. It was something called Chinja Kuku. Chinja Kuku is slaughter the chicken here in Kenya. So we did an act. I think it was called Korovas during that time. I also did some bit of athletics. If you looked at me today, you didn't think that I ever ran anywhere. But I did middle distance. I did 800 meters and 1500 meters when I was a young man, and that really is what has built me to become a resilient person, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship, where you have to be so resilient. When I was young, I was looking forward to being like Richard Branson. He owns over 400 companies. He's an entrepreneur with so many companies, and that was in my Bible at the front of the Bible. I had written all the companies that I would have when I grow up. But better, I used to call them Gaibun. Gaibun is Gideon Bundi, so it was the short form for Gaibun. My name is Gideon Bundi. So I did Gaibun Airlines, Gaibun, I don't know what. I had several companies that I wanted to have when I grow up. But I think I'm doing pretty much well anyway. I have 3 companies today that are live. I have Sotica, which is running. We have Nomachain. We also have Block. So those are 3 businesses. So I think I'm still living the dream that I hoped for. But that's basically who I was before entrepreneurship. But I started entrepreneurship direct from campus. So I did not. I've never been employed all my life. So I started building. I did maths and computer science in campus, so I started developing websites for clients when I was in campus through a business called Market Kenya Solutions. Then from there, got a few contracts, and from there partnered with an organization, and that's how I got into starting to build Nunua. So I've been an entrepreneur my life, never been employed, and I think I'm focused now in my 30s. I'm very clear about the direction that I want to take. I've failed, and those have been the lessons. And the many lessons we've learned through the many failures that we've had, I think is what is making the businesses now that we are doing right now become more stable with more better structures and these cycles. And of course, learning through the many programs that we've been through. So I think that's a very good experience, and I think that's why we are going to really achieve the dreams that we want, because we've gone through the process of what it takes to actually become a fully fledged entrepreneur.
Well, I'm very inspired. We are very early in the session and I'm already inspired. Now, I just want to know, where is this passion coming from? Is it coming from a family environment? Because I'm pretty sure anybody who's watching here right now is also as motivated as I am. So I just wanted to just touch on, where does this passion come from of doing so many things and doing things with passion?
Yeah, no, I think I've always been a passionate person, especially when I speak about my businesses and my companies, even when I'm pitching to guys. Guys are saying you're so passionate about what you're doing. I think it's something that is within me, that I want to be successful at what I put my mind to. I want to be able to achieve the goals that I'm set out to be able to achieve. And I think the fact that I do this from my heart, as an entrepreneur, you don't make any money at all from starting businesses. You are actually very poor. I always tell people that as entrepreneurs, we're the only people who work very hard to pay other people, and we don't pay ourselves. During Edmond, we are the poorest. We have to borrow money to be able to settle bills for our people. But it's the passion that you have to be able to create a meaningful impact in life that really pushes you. For me, I say we have one life to live, and I think the purpose of life is to create good experiences and to leave an impact in the world. Because None of us is getting off this alive. So we just have to do what we have to do during the time that we're here. And I think that I'm motivated to change the world. I'm motivated to change the African continent. I'm motivated to be able to empower Africans to be able to harness the resources that they have to create wealth. That's really an area that I'm really passionate about, and I really want to do that. And I want to develop African solutions for African problems. So that's really my area of focus, and that's the reason why I think I'm very passionate about solving those problems.
I love that. So now, ALX Ventures, fast forward, you've joined. You joined ALX Founder Academy specifically. What did the people around you think about that decision at the time when you decided that, actually, I think I'm going to join ALX Founder Academy?
Yeah, so when I was applying to ALX was pretty much new in Kenya, and they were running some AI programs and things like those. So it wasn't really a very popular decision to actually be able to do that. So we were looking for capital to actually be able to build up Nomachain, because we needed that seed money for us to start developing the business. So when we applied, we actually thought we were applying for a program that we are actually going to get capital. So my co-founders they were happy for us to explore those opportunities and for us to look into that particular direction, because I think VCs had started coming into the country at that time. I think it was back in 2023 to 2024 thereabout, and they were coming to the country, and I think it was an opportunity for us to actually raise money. But because none of us has ever raised money from a VC before, it wasn't clear that it was going to materialize at all, or it was going to add up into anything. So guys were just saying, let's try, and they were a bit skeptical about it. So it wasn't really something that we hoped it would turn out to match, unless there was a cash that was going to be involved. Yeah.
I like that. So when you joined, in one of your stories. So for anybody who's watching here, Gideon's story is one of the stories that has really inspired us here at ALX, and this is the reason why we are sitting down with him here. So I will be referring to some of the things that come across as, how do you know Gideon? We already know him because he's one of the success stories that we always talk about here at ALX. So when you joined, you weren't fully aware that what you need was capital, but investor readiness. When did that realization actually land for you?
Yeah, so it's actually when we got into the program, because I mean, as a founder, you're always looking for money. So obviously, money is the biggest problem for founders. It's what they think they need. But once we got into the program and started going through the process, especially in the Founder Academy, we realized there is so much that you need to actually be able to accomplish before you can actually become investor ready, or even before someone can actually be able to give you the money. And that's the work that most entrepreneurs are not willing to actually be able to undertake, or they're not willing to do. And that's where the rubber meets the road. So being able to understand that we need a product market fit, we need to be able to prove traction, we need to be able to have a proper deck, we need to have a proper story that we can actually be able to tell. We need to have measurable KPIs that we can actually be able to report into our investors. I think that's the education that came through the Founder Academy. I think the manager we had at that time was very particular in terms of, do you have a proper story to tell that I can put you in front of investors and you can actually be able to convince them? And I think that's why we started understanding that there is more to just going to someone and tell them to give you money. Why should they give you money? Why do you think you have the best product? Nobody really cares about your product anyway, so you really need to have something that gives you that edge. And what gives you that edge is the preparation that you have to do to make sure that your business is actually investable. And that's when, during the program, then we realized, wow, here we have to work extra hard in terms of making sure that our business is grounded properly, it's properly structured, even from a corporate governance perspective. We have proper documentation from a proper data room that is actually being done. We have to document every progress that we actually make. We have to do our financials pretty much well, and we have to, at the end of the day, make sure we have paying customers. Because when you're going to an investor, you're basically telling them, I have a solution here. I have a critical mass that is actually using my product every other day, so which means I've achieved what we call product market fit, and I need your money to scale this. So if you get me $100,000, then I can 10x this. I can 100x this. So they need to be able to see that kind of traction actually coming in. So when we were through the Founder Academy program and then we transitioned to the venture program, that's when we realized that there is more than just going to pitch to investors. You really need to be ready to actually be able to do that.
I like that. I mean, looking at the work that you're doing and also like Nomachain, you are doing such an incredible work, and it's a work that is very important because it tackles the issues that we are facing right now in this world. So I want to talk about Nomachain for a second. What is Nomachain? When someone is coming across Gideon and they want to know more about what you actually do, can you take us through the problems that you're solving? What actually is the reason that Nomachain is existing today?
Thank you very much. So Nomachain exists to solve the homeownership problem across the African continent. It is such a big problem because of the rate of urbanization within our continent. By the year 2033, 50% of our continent is going to be urbanized. People are going to be living within the urban areas. Today, even as we speak here in Kenya, the people living in the slums are so many. They are living squalor lives. They are living in environments that we don't want to see our people living. The dignity of our people is at stake. We need to be able to provide decent housing, decent hygiene for our people. And that's what we are saying. 85% of our people here in Kenya, in the urban areas, are actually renting. So the goal is to be able to say, how can we be able to transition all these people who are renting houses to actually become homeowners, and homeowners in decent homes. So obviously the path towards homeownership today is mortgages. Mortgages are quite expensive because a mortgage would ideally be 50 to 75% more expensive than what they are currently paying as rent. So what I'm currently paying as rent, if I was to mortgage the same house, I'll be paying 50 to 75% more. So that becomes quite unaffordable, especially in a continent where incomes don't grow at the same rate of inflation, where incomes are not as much. And if you look at the middle class households, then rent alone is almost up to 40 or 50% of a household income. So which means that household cannot be able to afford a mortgage. So what we ask ourselves is, how can we allow our people to continue to pay what they are paying as rent, but now not towards owning those houses that they actually live in? So that's where we came up with what we call rent to own tokenized mortgages, right? Rent to own tokenized plans. So the first thing we have to think about is, how can we be able to get affordable long-term capital that we can be able to come and deploy towards financing these people to acquire those houses, because that capital is not in Africa. Our governments borrow very expensively, so they're always competing with us to borrow money from the financial markets, from the capital markets. Banks would rather give their money to the government than give money to individuals. So we said we need to go where interest rates are much lower. During the 2023 COVID time, after COVID time coming this way, interest rates were almost negative in some of the markets. They were very low. In Japan, interest rates were very low. So we need to provide an instrument that would allow global money to flow into Kenya and Africa as a whole to be able to finance our people to own these homes by them continue to pay rent. So that's where we came up with what we call tokenization. So tokenization is the process of converting physical assets into digital assets, right? So for example, what we convert as digital assets here is the debt, the rent to own plan itself. So that's a debt with cash flows, because these people are going to be paying every other month. So there's cash flow element there. Then we have the underlying asset, which is the house itself. So we tokenize the house, it becomes a security, right? And then we tokenize the debt and it becomes an investment product, right? So it gives rights to that, but the token gives people rights to that. And the beauty of tokenization is that anybody across the world is able to participate very easily. You can be able to buy using your digital dollar. You can be able to buy into the debt. You can be able to invest into the debt and get that cash flow. So we're getting Chinese, we're getting Japanese, we're getting people from Southeast Asia, people from Europe investing in asset-backed investment products, which is essentially a rent-to-own plan here in Kenya. And that way they are able to finance our people to own homes with the same amount of money they actually pay as rent. And that's the plan that we have to be able to house our people. And the beauty is that has just transitioned just from home ownership alone to now a fully fledged product that is actually bringing all manner of assets on the blockchain or into the digital space. Now, as you're aware, there's a new law that has passed called the Virtual Asset Service Provider Act. It's been passed in South Africa, it's been passed in Rwanda, it's been passed here in Kenya. That allows businesses like ours, which are called virtual asset service providers, businesses like ours now to be able to tokenize debt, to tokenize property, to tokenize funds, to tokenize equity, and things like those. So our business has grown beyond just offering solutions for home ownership to a fully fledged capital market infrastructure for fund managers to be able to tokenize their funds, for other entities to be able to bring their assets on chain, for banks to be able to sell their loan books, for SACCO shares to start trading. So we have really expanded beyond that, and I think Nomachain has really grown from just a baby that was thinking about solving the home ownership problem to a fully fledged capital markets infrastructure solution provider. Yes.
I like that. Wow, such an incredible work. So I think right now, if someone is watching and they say, okay, I want to check out this guy, firstly, quickly, where do they go? Where do they find you? What's your website? What's your Instagram? What's your social media so we can find you? Because this conversation is really going into the impact that we always talk about when we talk about Africa and making impact to other people as well.
Yeah, I think I'm very active on LinkedIn. So if you go to LinkedIn and look for Gideon Gitonga, you'll be able to see me there. So you see the business that I run, BlockUp, Nomachain, Sotica, all of them. So if you go to LinkedIn, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. That's where you can really find me. I'm not very active on other social medias, but I think LinkedIn is very good for me. And then obviously our website for Nomachain is nomachain.io. So if you go to nomachain.io, you'll be able to see the kind of work that we've actually been doing. We have some tokens that we've released into the market. We have Noma token, which is the ecosystem of Nomachain. We have the first blockchain SACCO in Africa that we tokenize. It's called BlockUp SACCO. In South Africa, you call them Stockvels. Yeah,
Stockvels.
Yeah. Here in Kenya, we call them SACCO. So we have the first SACCO that we have brought fully on the blockchain because of the work that we are doing around tokenization. So its digital shares are called blocks. So you can check out blockupsacco.com. That's another product that you can be able to check out. We are working with a bank now here in Kenya. It's called HFCB Bank. So which means we are bringing blockchain to mainstream financial services space. And I think we've made a lot of progress when it comes to the kind of work that we are doing with this kind of institutions. So we've also partnered with a bank to that extent, and you can find our story online. If you just Google Gideon Gitonga, you will see the many things that we are doing. If you go on Google, I think they will find Gideon Gitonga, and you find the many things that we are doing. BlockUp SACCO is very big. Nomachain is very big in terms of what we do. Yeah,
that's wonderful. So now, I want to talk about the impact that you have created on the ground. Beyond your company, who else has benefited from your journey and the work that you're doing? Do you have any people that you have mentored who are looking up to you and saying, I want to do the same thing, or I want to invest, or I want to be contributing to the great work that you're doing?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, I contribute my mentorship skills to Jijali. There's a program called Jijali. It's for entrepreneurs. So I've been able to do that. I've also worked with the USIU Entrepreneurship Center, where we train the young people in campus around entrepreneurship programs. We've also worked with JICA. JICA have been investing in businesses, and I've been part of the trainers who provide business skills to those particular founders. So those are really areas that I really contribute a lot. If you go to my LinkedIn, you'll be able to see the programs, especially the ones for JICA. Put them there. Or if you look at the Jijali profile there, you'll be able to see there's great work that we've been able to do. And of course, we do a lot of talks at ALX. I think if you're aware, at ALX, they have all these young people who are coming in now into the ALX program. It's become very, 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 very established. And right now, it's a mainstream for any young person who wants to get into AI, analytics, and stuff like that. So we mentor these young people and we talk to them every other day. Also, we have been working with KU Chandaria Center. It's called Kenyatta University Chandaria Center, where we are working with young people and they're innovating. Through BlockUp SACCO, we do talks on financial literacy and financial management to campuses, to institutions. And recently we partnered with Rotary International. I think you know Rotary International. It's a whole organization of people who are focused on giving service back to the communities that they live in. So we partnered with Rotary International, and we are rolling out programs and supporting their programs to be able to help communities, schools, and people in the community generally. So I think it is a calling to all of us as humanity, but more so as Africans, that if you are privileged to be able to be in a particular standard in society, it is good that you give back. And giving back means that you have to go and be able to help the people that our fellow Africans to be able to get off poverty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I mean, wow, your work is so incredible, Gideon. I think we can have this conversation for like hours and hours because I really wanna, people to really know about you and, how proud we are of the journey that you have taken and the role that you have taken to really help the people of Africa. And I believe your work is really, really incredible. So now looking back at the person who joined ALX Founders Academy versus who you are right now, what's the most significant thing that you will say has changed in how you see your work and how you see Gideon?
Yeah, obviously, my mindset around entrepreneurship has really changed. Money is the last thing in my mind when it comes to starting a new venture. Nowadays, I think about who has the problem. Is the problem big enough to be able to create commercial sense? Are they so much irritated by the problem that they are willing to actually pay for it? So even before we think of starting a product, then or looking for money to develop something, we think about the customer. Who has the problem? And the other thing that has really changed is procrastination. We have stopped procrastinating when to do something. When you think about something, take it to the market. The market will actually grow the product for you. What you're thinking as an idea today may not be what your product is going to be 2 years down the line, 1 year down the line. All you need is a minimum viable product. There's a reason why MVP exists, so that you can be able to have something to go to the market with, and the market will tell you what they want. So we just a simple MVP. You get to the market, the clients will tell you the direction the business actually grows eventually will be determined by the market. So I am not a procrastinator anymore. I am not a perfectionist anymore. I do not think that I have to be perfect for me to go to market. I just think that I need an MVP to go to market. So my mindset has changed. Money is not the first thing that I need as an entrepreneur. I need to know who has the problem. Is it big enough? Are they irritated enough to pay for the solution? Yes.
I like that. Okay, so now I want us to speak to the founders, right? Because you did Founders Academy and you've done an incredible work. So there's someone there who's sitting with an idea, but they're not convinced that actually, I don't know, should I start? Should I not start? What do we say to those people?
Yeah, it's exactly what I've said, Jay. Like that don't procrastinate. Don't think too much about it. As long as you know that you have identified a problem. So the first thing you need to identify is a problem, and who has the problem. Is there a critical mass of people that have a similar problem, right? What is their current workaround? Are they willing to pay for the solution that you are actually providing them? Once you have that, have your MVP, go out, validate, and proceed. You don't need to be perfect. And one of the biggest challenges that that young founders get is the need for them to be perfect, with a perfect product, perfect whatever. I was doing a talk the other day, and I was telling founders in Africa that we don't need to scale product, we need to scale trust. Africa is about building trust infrastructure. It's about 3 kinds of trust. You have social trust. Who else is using the same product? Who has the same problem and is actually benefiting from your solution? Then from there, you focus on being what we call institutional trust. Institutional trust is embedding yourself to institutions that have already built trust so that you can be able to benefit from the existing customers. That really helps in terms of distribution. Then number 3, you focus on what we call system trust. System trust is where you build processes that are predictable. You build pricing that customers that is transparent to your customers. So you build systemic, and you can leverage AI for that. You can leverage blockchain for transparency and stuff like that. So it's about building. It's not about product. Don't focus on product as a founder. Focus on, is there a problem that I'm solving? Can I be able to build enough trust with enough people around it? Can I be able to scale that trust infrastructure and more people? And really, nobody really cares about how well your product is done or the technology your product is really running on. People care about their needs. They care about their problems being solved. And that is what really matters. So if you think you're solving a problem, do it. Then everything else will follow.
Definitely, definitely. I think you've summarized it in a right way. So now we've come to the end, and to be honest, I'm quite sad that our time is almost over. So what's the next chapter for Nomachain? What does it look like?
Yeah.
Where are you taking this incredible idea and incredible work you're doing?
Thank you. So the licensing regime for virtual assets in Kenya has just kicked in. So we are going for the virtual asset tokenization platform license and the token issuers license. And that would give us a proper legal base in now for us to be able to scale our services through institutions. So we want to do this across the African continent, but we are now eyeing emerging markets. That's Southeast Asia, the MENA region and the LATAM region. And we've started talking to potential partners that we can actually be able to scale this infrastructure with. So we have built a very good model when it comes to issuing assets on the blockchain, and we believe that we can be able to interest corporate clients and traditional institutions to actually be able to see this as a product that they can be able to use for them to actually get to build the next phase of their offerings to the market. So scaling across Africa and scaling across emerging markets is the next frontier for Nomachain. That's what we really want to be able to do, and we want to provide our solutions so that as many people as possible have a true shot at being able to live a dignified life while they are still here. So, and that's what we want to do. We want to democratize financial services so that the 400 million Africans are not included in the formal financial service sector, then they can become included. And that's really the power of blockchain. Blockchain is about decentralization. Blockchain is about removing the need for intermediaries. It is about saying that there is nobody who needs to give you permission to participate. And that's what decentralization is all about. And that's why when we are building products such as Block of Circle, we are saying that anybody from across the world is able to participate. There is no intermediary who needs to allow you in or out, and there is nothing that should be able to take you out of the formal financial services system, so that everybody has an equal chance to live in a dignified life, to make an income, to afford housing, to afford proper housing, proper incomes, and all those manner of things. So we want to be able to empower 1 billion people across the world through decentralized finance. That's our goal. And we cannot do it alone. We're going to do it with strategic partnerships. And that's what we are building, strategic partnerships across the Rwandan market. We're already in Rwanda speaking to Bank of Kigali, Jumbo Credit in Rwanda. We are looking for partners in South Africa. We will be in South Africa in November this year. So obviously, Jay, I should be giving you a call because
Definitely.
I'll have a big seminar there. Last year we were there. We exhibited at Santon. We exhibited in Seamless Africa. So obviously, when we are there again this year, I'll give you a shout out. So we are building all these communities across the continent, but we want to do this across emerging markets. And the bigger goal is 1 billion people. Even if I don't see it in my lifetime, it's something that's going to happen because we built a platform that is going to outlive us. It's going to be generational.
Indeed. Wow. Incredible, incredible work that you're doing. So, wow. Gideon, you are an incredible guy, incredible work that you're doing. I'm inspired, and I hope everybody who's watching right now is inspired to go out there. And if they want to contribute to the great work, please make sure that you check Gideon on LinkedIn, Gideon Gitonga. You can also check Nomachain, that is nomachain.io. And if you want to be part of the greatness that is ALX and the impact that we are doing, please check us out on alxafrica.com. Gideon, it has been a pleasure talking to you and learning more about the work that you've done and the work that you continue to be doing. I'm looking forward to meeting you here in South Africa. Thank you, and to everybody who's watching, thank you so much again for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you, Jay. Bye-bye.